What's up out there, YouTube?
What's going on there, YouTube?
This is Joe Johnson 030.
This is SEL 032.
Yeah, and we're JVS.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. So today we're going to be reviewing the newest episode of the Green Arrow, the Arrow. So starring our main man, Oliver Queen, and his quest as a vigilante to save his city. So yeah, so Sam, you wanna kind of lead us in here?
Sorry, I apologize. Okay, so I really liked this episode. First off,
Yeah.
The Leadoff. That's the one thing I can say. I actually really like this episode.
Spoiler or non-spoiler?
We might as well just make the spoiler.
All right.
Because I don't think we'll be able to do two different ones. Like, we got 3 other videos we're shooting back to back. So the way that the episode started, it was basically Diggle and Oliver. They were kind of going in 2 different directions. I mean, they still have been, beefing for certain degrees because of the fact that Oliver betrayed Diggle in a lot of different ways, like from before, and using his child and his wife as bargaining chip when he was Ra's al Ghul. Diggle has not been able to let that go. It's not even so much that, but Oliver is like, he's like, I understand that, but it's the fact that you won't even allow me to acknowledge and give me another chance to prove myself. And I thought that was one of the most interesting elements of it, because I was thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, Diggle is justified in how he feels, but the more he does this is put each other, their lives on the line. And sure enough, the opening sequence, like, that was one of the things that kind of happened. They started to realize that they were going up against a villain or 2 different things that merge into the same exact problem. And Damien Darhk in this episode, he was nuts, dude. Like, this dude is dangerous.
Yeah.
He is seriously dangerous.
I didn't realize how much of a threat the dude was until this episode, y'all. Like, for real. I was like, okay, he's gonna be a problem. He's a real problem.
Yeah.
And even after, Ra's al Ghul, you know what I'm saying? Like, his character, I didn't know, like, as far as a villain, who could maybe best Ra's al Ghul, or who would be a better villain than him. Mm-hmm. And I can see Damien Darhk being a very, very formidable foe. Very formidable.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't, at this point, it's...
I think that Ra's al Ghul in and of himself, I don't think he's completely dead. I think he's going to make an appearance because I just don't see Malcolm Merlyn staying being Ra's al Ghul. I think that Nyssa would bring her dad back from the dead before she would allow him to continue to do that. And I mean, given the circumstances of what they did in this episode, that might end up happening. They might end up putting his body in the Lazarus Pit. He goes insane and he becomes the Ra's al Ghul that we know. You know what I'm saying? But one of the things there's 3 different things happening. You had a relationship of Diggle and Oliver being strained. You had, I think, Team Up, or Mr. Terrific, or the guy that Felicity Smoke has under her wing, because she uses him because there's a new metahuman in town, and the metahuman, he's able to take a tattoo and make it into an actual matter and use it as a weapon. And so basically playing cards is what he had on his body. But when Oliver went up against him, like, it was dangerous. I was thinking to myself, like, I really like the action and the cinematography for this, because the action sequences really made me feel this feeling of fear of, like, man, if he gets cut by this is gonna, he might die, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, that was one of the things that when I looked at the movie last night, and even when Batman Begins, it was a lot of, like, the camera was just kind of going all over the place. They didn't get to show you, like, when action sequences are really happening, when the fights are actually happening. They don't take the time to kind of pan out and actually let you see it. But in this show, one of the things that it does well, it shows really good fight sequences, as well as, like, shootouts. Like, even Diggle was trying to go and hunt down the H.I.V.E. To try to figure out, like, who the ones responsible for his brother's death. And he got a clue, but him and Oliver weren't working together. And that led up to probably one of the better things about this episode was Felicity stepped up. Like, she stepped up twice. Like, she basically put Oliver and Diggle in check. She was like, look, y'all ninjas are jacking up. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what y'all got to do, or I'm gonna have to tune you up, basically, in so many different words. And like, there's a point that the same metahuman finds out where they are, the location of the lair and everything, and he tries to take out Felicity and her friend. And Felicity goes and takes him downstairs, and she ends up getting like a submachine gun, sitting there spraying and praying. I was like, Felicity stellar. I love this Felicity. This is the Felicity that I know from the first and second season, not the third season. This is Felicity that I love. And not just that, I feel like her character is like moving in a deeper way as well. Even like, the guys don't have a choice. They have to listen to her. And they do listen to her. And I love the Laurel for that. What do you feel about the relationship between Oliver and Diggle? What's your pull away from, I guess, that segment of this? Because we haven't talked about Thea and Laurel and what they did.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about Thea.
Okay, I'll let you talk about that then.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna go to video.
Thea and Laurel, like, they pretty much, you know. Oh man, this is crazy.
They're crazy.
Yeah,
They are crazy.
Go ahead. I feel like you can explain better than I can.
No, try.
No, you can explain better than I can.
So, the last episode, one thing that Laurel found out is that Thea was brought back technically almost from the dead. I thought that Thea died, to be honest, because of the Lazarus Pit.
Mm-hmm.
And she decided she was not going to tell Oliver. She was going to dig up her sister.
I forgot about that scene.
And take her to Nanda Parbat.
Yeah.
And beg Malcolm to bring, you know, her back to life. Which was insane because even Malcolm said that the whole process of the pool takes remnants of those evil or those in power, and it keeps a part of their souls intact into it. Every single time that they are healed, the person comes out worse than they were. Just why Thea has this bloodlust in her that she cannot, you know, do anything about, because like it hasn't quenched its thirst. Like it still has the thirst for blood and for power. And Thea is no longer the same Thea that we knew, you know what I'm saying? And Thea wasn't even technically dead. So Malcolm was like, the ramifications of us doing that, you don't know what you're gonna get. This is gonna be an abomination. And that's, honestly, if you don't know what the Red Hood is about, the movie, that is what happened to Jason Todd. That is why he's so messed up, you know what I'm saying? Of course, the effects do run its turn over time. Yeah. Yeah. But they, they're stupid tails. They do it anyway. And I mean, Thea, she got set up by her dad. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna take you to this, you know, shaman. He's gonna help you out with your bloodlust. He sends like a couple guards in there. She just kills him. And he's like, you feel better now? That was crazy. He's so crazy. But I mean, it's well acted. Thea, I like the pacing of her character. She has meaning now. It's not just like she's just there, that annoying sister, you know. Like, to me, her character matters. Not just that, her relationship with Malcolm Merlin even more deeper, because that's not, I mean, no matter what, Oliver cannot escape the fact that Malcolm Merlin is in his life and connected to it. But they decide to bring this girl Sara back to life, and I know this all plays into the Legends of Tomorrow because she's gonna eventually be the White Canary, which is fine. But
I was thinking how they're gonna do that, bro. That's crazy.
But the ramifications of doing that, like, this girl doesn't know who they are, and just the look on her face, I was just like, this is not Sara. This is not Sara. The whole next episode basically looked like her dad was pointing a gun at her. Cause who was it? Damien Darhk was like, yeah, that's not your daughter's soul. That's something else. And I mean that in and of itself it's really weight. It's meaty, and I love that about this episode. One theory that I have is that Felicity keeps on getting this little pop-up message. There's something that's trying to communicate with her, and I think that it is Brandon Routh's character, Ray Palmer. I think Ray Palmer's still alive, but he's just really small. And I think that he's trying to communicate with her in some way. If he's on a subatomic level, that might be a reason why, but I don't know. I don't know. But either way, I know for a fact Ray Palmer's still alive because he's going to be in Legends of Tomorrow. But what's your takeaway of this? What was the thing you want to talk about?
Yo, like, I didn't expect what's her name? She destroyed the
Lazarus Pit.
The Lazarus Pit, yeah.
She destroyed that Lazarus Pit.
What you mean, man?
There's more than one Lazarus Pit.
Alright, bro. Alright, well, thanks for viewing YouTube. I give this episode a 10. I didn't expect it. A lot of crazy stuff goes down, and I really enjoyed this episode, yo. Like, the action was on point.
It was. I really loved the episode.
It was a really good episode. I give it a 10.
Oh,
How do you give it?
I give it, what do I give this episode? I give it a 9.5 out of 10. This is probably my favorite episode so far of this season. Given also, like, this is the third episode, and like I've grown on the characters, and not just that, I'm curious to see what's going to be with the relationship between Mr. Terrific. That he hasn't been called that yet, but when his character arc comes up, that's going to be a whole nother element to it. And I'm curious to see where they're going to go with that. But I mean, it was fun. It was exciting. The big resolve towards the end is the fact that Oliver took a bullet for Diggle, essentially. Yeah. And they realized that not only do they need each other, that they've been lying to each other equally, just as much. Even though, like, Oliver did do something really messed up, like, Diggle has been lying longer, and he didn't even realize it because he was so consumed with trying to do it himself. And they come to the resolve that they need each other, and that's one of the big morals of this show, is that, or Felicity was like, yeah, we're the original OGs, you know, and I really like that. It's true, you know, they're the original, you know, Arrow group, and they're the core members of it, and they need to be working together to bring this dude down. Not just that, how they're gonna bring Sara back, like, to, you know, sanity, essentially. They're gonna have to work together to be able to do that. And Lord, I think Oliver's gonna lose it on Laurel. He gonna lose it on her tail, bro, because he loves Sara. I mean, that's one thing about the show, is that, I mean, the Black Canary is supposed to be, you know, like Oliver's one true love, but yet in this show, like, he loves Sara more, you know, than most. And not just that, like, he's with Felicity. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Sara died, they weren't necessarily an item yet. Yeah. So, I mean,
that's a good point, man.
They had just got on their first date, so how's that gonna affect Oliver? Laurel didn't care.
You know,
she just did what she did.
You know, definitely exciting. Thanks you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, leave your comments below. You know what I'm saying? And watch this show. That rhymes. Oh man, I'm killing the rhymes, bro.
Oh my god.
Killing the rhymes. My album dropped.
I like how the tables are turning.